Good morning and greetings from Northumberland on the 30th of July, the penultimate day of the month. It's a damp morning, which will be good for many people who are needing rain. I'm sorry that these prayers, these reflections are coming later at the moment, but one of the things that they do say about having had COVID is that you sleep a lot more, and I can testify to the fact that that's true. Today's gospel is the story of the death of John the Baptist, the way in which Herod was tricked, forced, shamed, whatever the way you look at it, into killing John. John, who had stood against him and had stood against the ways of the people of power. At the same time today, we celebrate three reformers: William Wilberforce, Thomas Clarkson, and Olaudah Equiano, who was an African who had been sold into slavery and then freed. He, with the others, were all instrumental in combating the slave trade, the triangle trade that worked from the UK to Africa to the New World. And these were people who did something very powerful. They stood out against what had been accepted by the church and accepted by society as an okay thing to do, and revealed to people the atrocity, the shameful practices of the triangular trade, of the slave trade. And I, like many people, learnt about this trade as a child and could only be horrified by what happened and the way in which human beings were treated, not only by white people exploiting people from Africa, black people, but by also people in Africa exploiting each other. This is not just a racial trade, although racism was so much part of it. It was a trade that looked on other people as a commodity. It dehumanized people, and therefore people could be sold into slavery. And that, of course, was part of the world, and sadly continues to be part of the world in modern slavery. And we all read and heard recently the story of Mo Farah. There is within human beings this desire this weakness that can allow us to commoditize others, to commoditize others economically, to commoditize others sexually, and so much of the modern slavery is involved in human trafficking and sexual abuse. All these things are still in our society. We give thanks for people like Wilberforce and his companions, who examined their Christian faith and allowed their Christian faith to inform and to change their understanding of everything. That's very, very important. But we also need to continue that process in ourselves. And Christian people must be involved in the liberation of others. One of the sad things about the present Lambeth Conference is the statement from the Global South, which seems to commoditize and to dehumanize and certainly to de-Christianize people who have a different understanding. And as Christians, we have to combat that so that we can be people who sit at the table that is big enough for everyone, that we can be people who are open in heart to all who come to us, and that we can be a people who proclaim the value of every other person and support that value in our words, in our actions, and in our teachings. May God call us from times of darkness into the light and love of the gospel, so that we may truly be God's people, and we may truly share God's love with everyone around us. May God bless us, may God bless the people of Ukraine, and may God lead us in his love and peace today.